Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Freeman Motorsports channel. This morning, we are commentating to the F1 race at, I think it's Azerbaijan or something like that, at the Baku Street Circuit, and I am super excited to be doing this one. This is my first ever F1 live commentary. I am a NASCAR fan, and today it's kind of like NASCAR fan watches F1. Gonna kind of like just try something new. I am like somewhat a follower of F1 for the last maybe couple of months. And yeah, no, I'm really excited for today's race. I know that last year this race was super, like it was one of the more drama-filled races where you had Max crashing out and Lewis not finishing in the top 10. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited for this one, guys. We're going to see anybody who tunes in today. Honestly, I have no idea how this stream's going to go. I mean, this is something we've never tried to do before. I know that F1 may be a bit harder market to break into than NASCAR, but we'll just have to see. But we'll go through the starting order here in a moment. For all those guys wondering, I mean, most of you guys probably already know, most of the dedicated F1 fans are like really hardcore into it and follow a lot of it. And the grid's like a lot shorter, so rather than knowing like where everybody's starting, like in the NASCAR field, it's a bit different. And also qualifying matters a lot more in F1 than it does in NASCAR. Track position is just way more valuable. As today, I am controversially rooting for Lewis Hamilton. I know that some of you guys may not like that, but that's who I'm rooting for. I also, though, am rooting for Pierre Gasly. Those are the two drivers that I'm rooting for. Hammer, how are you doing? Good morning. I'm just glad that I'm not the only one who woke up this early. Yeah, I don't know. Watching F1 may be a mistake. We'll see. I don't know. We're trying something else out, something new. I mean, I'm going to be watching this race anyways, probably. So I'm like, might as well live stream it. And this is one of the few ones I can because it's early enough in the morning where it doesn't interfere with me having to go to church. Okay, guys, so we're going to actually pull the leaderboard up here for you in a second. Start like the opening, like slap or whatever it's called. I don't even know. Hammer, it's night right now. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see how this works. This may end up totally flopping, but we'll see. Because like my live streams for F1, they do bad. Maybe, well, this will probably do bad because there are already quite a few people who are live streaming the F1 race, so that people are going to be watching that more so than they'll be me. Whereas in NASCAR, there's maybe a handful of other channels that are live streaming the race, so there's a lot less competition. Also, up here now. You know, leave this Ram ad up over here on this leaderboard because you know what we like the Dodge Ram. I don't know, Rams for me. Yeah, so the front row is Charles Leclerc, and his outside would be Sergio Perez, and then it's Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz in row 2, then George Russell, Pierre Gasly, row 3, And then Lewis Hamilton and Yuki Tsunoda, row 4. So one thing, AlphaTauri seems to be doing better this weekend than they have any other weekend so far this year. Pierre Gasly has their best qualifying result of the year this weekend. And both cars actually qualified in the top 8, though. So no, it's day for me. No. It's night. It's day. It's like it's in the morning. It's like 7 a.m. Yeah, wow. There's just like nobody tuning in at all. It's not even like other people are even like there's nobody tuning in at all. This is like totally flopping. I mean, I'm gonna be doing this weekend, and I'll be doing it next weekend for Montreal because there's no NASCAR race. So I want to do at least something. But yeah. Well, no, I went to bed and I just woke up. So if you stayed up all night, man, then you shouldn't just go to bed, dude. I don't know. You can kind of hear I have like a morning voice right now. Also, maybe we're gonna try and play some music. Let's see what it's out here. We'll put some background music in. We'll see what this is like. Oh, that's so weird. Maybe turn it down. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, no, we're removing it. I thought that was going to sound decent. I take that back. But okay, we are about to get the green lights. Like it's about to, start this race. NASCAR fan watching this. I mean, I know like kind of how these races start and all that. But anyways, okay, and they're lights out and away they go. And Charles Leclerc has a decent jump, but Verstappen still to his inside, and Leclerc locks up. And Perez is going to go through to the lead. He's out front already. Sainz is in trouble. Verstappen all over the bumper of that Ferrari. Verstappen trying to get by Sainz. I just got them all backwards. Oh my gosh. And now Verstappen's still trying to get by Leclerc, but nope, that window's still not going to be there. But then after Verstappen, it's Sainz, Russell. Oh, wait, Verstappen is now also, but wait, never mind. And then it's Russell, Gasly, Hamilton, and then that's Vettel, and then Tsunoda and Alonso are battling side by side, but Alonso's going to tuck back in line. Then you have the two McLarens. Wait, how far ahead is the website of what's actually happened? Anyways. So yeah, still Perez out front, and he's already just to the lead. So this is championship implications. Honestly, not that much passing on this initial race start. Lance Stroll's picked up a couple spots. K-Mag's lost a couple. So far, really not that much has happened. Vettel has gotten by Tsunoda, and Albon and Stroll have each picked up a couple spots, and K-Mag and Latifi have each lost a couple. But Schumacher's still bringing up the rear. Schumacher has got to improve, man. Well, I'm glad that I'll have you for 2 more minutes, Hammer. You know, Perez still out front. He got a pretty decent gap to Leclerc. You know what? Here, we're going to switch this leaderboard. This leaderboard's slightly far ahead of the broadcast. Okay, here, we're going to do. Very narrowly got round there, didn't he? And then just watch as you get into 3, Verstappen trying to set up Leclerc, but Sainz going to drive down the inside. Here, that's a bit more accurate with me. Yeah, Leclerc locked entering turn 1, and that just allows Perez to go right by him on the inside. Yeah, Leclerc's just lucky he's able to hold on to second, and Verstappen didn't get by him as well. Yeah, Leclerc got lucky, though. He almost went into the barriers there. See ya, Hammer. The stream later today for NASCAR at Sonoma. Yeah, I think NASCAR is definitely more so going to work for us in F1 so far. Oh boy, Latifi with a 10-second penalty, our starting grid infringement. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Yikes for Nicholas Latifi. That's just all she wrote for this one. 10-second penalty, and yeah, he's not going to have any shot at scoring points today, most likely, unless major drama occurs. But also, K-Mag has picked back up a couple spots. Now he's back to where he started. He lost 2, but he's 2 up. Bottas continues to struggle this weekend. Alfa Romeo just, even though they got that special livery this weekend, they're still really struggling. Anyways, Verstappen is still within a second of Leclerc, so that battle for second place will be heating up when Verstappen gets DRS down this main straight. And that's big. If Red Bull can get that one too, this race is just about as good as won. Now here they come down the front straightaway, and Verstappen's got DRS. And oh wait. Oh, I guess Verstappen didn't get DRS that time. Or maybe are we getting shade of the DRS wing not working for Verstappen again? That'd be terrible. The battle for 11th place, heating up between the McLarens. Ricardo trying to get by with that DRS on the front straightaway. Wasn't quite close enough, but he's closing in. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso, the last driver in the points, starting to drive away from them a bit. And Latifi's in, serving that 10-second penalty he got on the grid. Strong though so far. Meanwhile, Hamilton trying to stay within a second of Pierre, so that way he can maybe use that DRS to get by. Then you'd have Mercedes both in 5th and 6th. Those right on the bumper of Esteban Ocon for 13th. He'll be looking to take advantage of that DRS. Man, Schumacher just still struggling. I mean, he's in last place, more or less. I mean, Latifi had to serve that 10-second penalty on pit road, so that's why Latifi's back. But then also Stroll also really struggling. I mean, I'm not sure how hurt that car is after the incident yesterday. I mean, he's in 18th, whereas his teammate is up in 8th. So that's a 10 spot difference. Oh, Verstappen's got the DRS. Is he going to be able to make a move? He's looking for it. Nope, not quite that time. But also, guys, are we going to see any incidents today? We have it. I mean, this is definitely a track where it's definitely easy to get into the wall. I mean, it's pretty narrow, not as narrow as Monaco, but I don't know. We saw quite a few incidents here last year. So maybe we will see that safety car at some point today. I'm willing to bet on it. Also, I didn't even realize, let's create a poll for the chat. Oh, Charles Leclerc just had a fastest sector 1. Meanwhile, though, Verstappen's still on his bumper. So for our poll, we'll put it's just the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. It's Perez or Verstappen. I'm probably gonna misspell one of these names. Leclerc, and then Sainz. And Verstappen just had a fastest sector 3. Hamilton staying close to the bumper of Pierre Gasly. That battle for 6th place still kind of active, just like this battle for 2nd. And K-Mag has gotten by Albon. So after losing 2 spots on the start, he's picked up 3. So now he's got a net gain. Yeah, K-Mag trying to rebound and maybe get that Haas up into the points this weekend. Leclerc just set a new fastest sector 1 this lap. And Hamilton really starting to close in on the bumper of Gasly as they go through the castle section, but he's got to try and make quick work of him because Vettel and Tsunoda are still kind of right on their bumper as well. Verstappen is still he's not able to get quite close enough this time on the straightaway. He's entering the DRS zone about 8 to 9 tenths a second back, and he's able to close that up to just about 3 or 4 tenths down the front straightaway once they get to that first braking zone. But he's going to need to be quite a bit closer as they go into the detection zone to be actually able to make a move. This time, though, Verstappen really close to the bumper of Leclerc. He should get DRS here, and will he be able to make a move? Meanwhile, though, Perez really has not pulled away from these guys battling in 2nd and 3rd. After 7 laps, he's only been able to gap them by about 2. He's not even 2.5 seconds. So this is still pretty close. But man, right now I'm just like, compared to NASCAR, these things, it's like they're just so fragile. And it's just so much harder to pass because these things are just like boats. They're so big. And there just aren't that many passing zones either. I mean, they literally have to have like a almost like a power boost to be able to pass other cars. Oh, this time Verstappen really closed in there on Leclerc, but still not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Hamilton's kind of faded off the bumper of Gasly. He was pretty close, but over the last lap, he's lost about a half a second each lap. And Vettel might be catching the bumper of Hamilton here soon. He's within a second now. He may be getting some DRS to help him soon. And Tsunoda's also pretty close behind him. Ooh, Daniel Ricciardo trying to get McLaren to swap places, but they're not really willing to do it right now. So that's pretty disheartening if you're Daniel Ricciardo, but yeah, meanwhile, now Hamilton does have kind of a big enough gap to where Vettel wouldn't be in DRS this time, but he's definitely fading off the bumper of Pierre Gasly. And not too many. The first big gap really starting to emerge between Verstappen and Sainz from third to fourth. And then that's about a 5-second gap. And then it's another 5 seconds back to Russell in fifth and another 5 seconds back to Gasly. And those are really the only kind of big gaps throughout this field so far. So field's still pretty bunched up together after almost 10 laps. Yeah, nobody has picked up more than one spot so far, so not a lot of passing, but Bottas and Latifi have both lost 2 spots. Oh, yellow flag in sector 1. And Carlos Sainz has gone deep in turn 4. And that thing has stopped. And Sainz, oh, he's going to have to drop all the way to the rear. Oh, and there's a mechanical failure on the 55 of Carlos Sainz. And I think that thing's going to be dead in the water in the turn 4 runoff area. Ooh. Something that was it for that car. You just hear the motor just crank. Like it's something like it's got like your lawnmower's got a stick in the mower. And now we got the VSC. And Charles Leclerc is going to pull into the pits. And Russell's now into the pits as well. So third and fourth place cars now pitting. Yeah, that Sainz is going to be out of this race, guys. So now we're already down to 19 cars. Yeah, I know. Russell, Gasly, Hamilton, Vettel, Tsunoda pitting. Just about everybody, or about no, Alonso, Norris aren't going to, Ricciardo aren't, but Zhou is. K-Mag will. Looks like you're going to see just about half the field pit and half the field not pit. Albon's into pit. And then you have the two Red Bulls did not pit out front, but then everybody behind them did. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Also, Hamilton lost a spot on pit road to Sebastian Vettel. Rarely do you see a, pit road being a place where track position is just made up and lost pretty frequently, but and the green flag is out now. But it's Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Alonso, Norris, Ricardo, Gasly, Ocon, Vettel, your top 10 after those pit stops. And then Hamilton, Tsunoda, Bottas, Stroll, Zhou, K-Mag, Albon, Schumacher, Latifi, and then Carlos Sainz is out of this race, the first retirement of the day after having some sort of mechanical failure as he entered turn 4. And this is going to be really interesting, actually, because all these guys who just pitted and put on the hards, they're going to have to, they're going to have to just slowly, but they're just going to have to slowly relax and make their way to the finish of this race because they got a long way to go on those hard tires, 40 laps. But they do get the free pit stop, so it's kind of going to be interesting to see how it works out. Well, Perez, though, still going to be out front, and he's just going to try and cruise right now. Well, they're actually, both the Red Bulls are probably going to try and get as big of a gap as they can on Charles Leclerc in third place. Because Leclerc probably won't have the same pace as they do as he's trying to warm up those hard tires. And they're just going to try and gap him right now. Yeah, last lap, though, Verstappen 3/10 quicker than the leader, his teammate Sergio Perez. Are we going to see team orders, or are they going to let Perez? Are they going to leave him out there and see if Verstappen can pass him just with the DRS? So yeah, 5th through 7th place have not pitted yet, and they're going to have to pit eventually. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that strategy works to stick with the hards or the mediums. Yeah, I mean, already 10 laps in, and we already saw our first issue with one of the Ferraris having a breakdown. So we'll have to see. This race last year provided a decent amount of drama. Still haven't seen any incidents really yet in this one. No bumping and banging per se. But I mean, last year we saw a couple of tire failures. I don't know if we're going to see that same issue here today, but would definitely be interesting. I'm sure that who even provides the tires? Is it Michelin? I think it is. I think that's who it is. But whoever provides the tires, they definitely are probably like, oh, we're not having any more tire failures this year. We cannot afford to do that. So oh, Vettel's closing in on the bumper of Ocon. Oh, he's just not able to quite get there as they enter turn one. Honestly, what we're seeing is that like the DRS is really not that powerful here today. I mean, yes, it's powerful, but I mean, it's still not easy to complete passes. And now he's going to have that DRS again from that shoot from turn 3 to turn 4. And he goes around the outside and he locks up and he makes that quick spin around. Whoa, that may be flagged for an unsafe rejoin by Sebastian Vettel. We'll see. Yeah, Vettel. Man, Vettel he was Van Ocon and then just locked the tire up entering turn 5. Dang, that really sucks for him. And then he pulled out and nearly hit Yuki Tsunoda. Man, but that was really close there for Sebastian Vettel, but now he's just some track position, and that puts Hamilton and Tsunoda ahead of him. Now Hamilton's on the bumper of Esteban Ocon. But that Hamilton's just so slow on, I mean, that Mercedes is so slow on the straightaways, even with the DRS. They may not be able to catch the Alpine, which is one of the fastest cars on the straights. But Hamilton is pretty close as they enter the DRS zone. And he's just not going to be able to do it. Oh, now Hamilton, though, he's going to have that DRS. Where Hamilton will probably pass. Ocon will probably be in that DRS zone from, I think it's turn 3 to, or turn 2 to turn 3. Because he'll close in on him on the front straightaway, and then he'll probably be able to make that move as they make that dive into that turn 3 braking zone, similar to what Sebastian Vettel kind of just did. And now Zhou Guanyu's going to pass Lance Stroll. And now Verstappen's closing in on Perez down the front straightaway. He's got DRS. He's within a second. Is he going to be able to make a move as they enter turn 1? How much will Perez defend? And he's going to send it up the inside. Verstappen is now your leader at Baku. On lap 15, Max Verstappen takes the lead from Sergio Perez. Will Perez try and pass him back? They're about to enter another DRS zone here from turn 2 to turn 3, and now Perez will have the DRS. And what's he going to be able to do? He's still right there on the bumper for Verstappen, but Verstappen pulling away through the DRS zone. Now, Leclerc's gained 2 seconds on the top 2, but even with those gained 2 seconds, now that Verstappen's cleared Perez, I think he's just going to be able to pull away from the field. Already is over a second clear of Perez. And Hamilton is just stuck in 10th place. He cannot, that car is just too slow on the straightaways. It's impossible to make any passes on the green track. And that is just going to kill the Mercedes today. And, oh, he got pretty close that time, so entered the turn 3 braking zone. He is right on the bumper of Ocon now. This is the closest he's been. If he can stay on his bumper, he might be able to get him in the next DRS zone. Oh boy. Hamilton is really close to the bumper of Ocon this time. He's just got to stay with him before they get to the straightaway. If he can stay close, then maybe he'll be able to make a move. Appreciate anybody who's tuned in so far today.
There's nothing Checo was going to be able to do because Max would have passed them in the next DRS zone, which is between 2 and 3. But he's already.
Yeah, and Hamilton, once again, that car just loses so much time on the straightaway. He's already lost like 3/10, and they're not even to the DRS zone. Now they're in the DRS, and Hamilton's got that DRS, but it's just not enough. I mean, he's losing time to the Alpine in front of him, even when that car has DRS. Now here they come to that DRS zone from turn 2 to turn 3. I don't think that's still going to be enough to help Hamilton. I mean, they are just in a state of desperation, to be honest. And Hamilton's just going to roast those tires behind Ocon. Now, if either of your top two pit, then they'll come out behind George Russell in 4th place. So they would come out in 3rd and 4th. Joe Guan Yu goes by Valtteri Bottas. And now it looks like they're going to be pitting at least one of the Red Bulls. My guess, it would be Sergio Perez, that since he's lost his lead. And yes, it is Sergio Perez coming in to pit for the hard tire compound. And now Leclerc's gone by. Russell should also pass him. And that pit stop took almost 6 seconds, so that was not quick. That may open the door for Fernando Alonso to maybe get by as well. And Sergio Perez is going to come out of the pits just ahead of George Russell in 3rd. But down this turn 2, turn 3 zone will. Yeah, Sergio Perez still just a slow stop, almost allowed George Russell to get by. I mean, yeah, Hamilton's still trying to get by Ocon. And I mean, yeah, what I'm seeing now is the Mercedes just doesn't have the top end on the straightaways to make any passes, even with DRS. But Alonso has both McLarens right on his bumper right now. And K-Mag is going by Valtteri Bottas now. Hey, and we just picked up a subscriber. Somebody randomly subscribed. I appreciate it. Probably not on this live stream, but somebody subscribed somewhere, so I appreciate it. Still racing today and has broken the longevity record for the longest duration of any driver's career in Formula One. And he's got behind him Lando Norris, who made his debut. Oh man, Lando Norris, he's got the DRS down the straightaway, but yeah, Alonso's really starting to back up some cars behind him. He's got both Norris Ricciardo behind him, but then he's got Gasly, who's on the fresher, harder tire compound. So, and the Alpines are actually, nobody can pass these Alpines right now, guys. The Alpine just have the top end on the straightaway, and they can't get by him, even with DRS. Oh, but is this Hamilton with a move to the inside? And Hamilton's past Esteban Ocon. As I say that, Hamilton finally gets by Esteban Ocon. And now Hamilton's up to 9th, and he'll try to make up that gap that has grown from 8th to 9th place. He's got to try and make up 6 seconds to Pierre Gasly. Yeah. And now if you're but Verstappen's pitting now. So you really start to think that maybe these guys that are going to be switching to the hard tire compound and didn't pit at the VSC are going to be pitting now. So once these Alpines pit, then this thing will start to work out to normal again. Yeah, now here's Verstappen into the pit. Will he have a quick stop, or will he be slow like his teammate? And still just not a quick stop. Verstappen really kind of struggling. I mean, not for the Red Bull, really just kind of struggling with these pit stops right now, guys. I mean, he should still be fine, but and Sergio Perez just ran the fastest lap of the race. And now you have the Alpine pit, and that's going to allow those guys behind him that were bunched up, the 2 McLarens and the AlphaTauri, to finally get some breathing room. But then you also have to imagine that these McLarens and the guys that haven't pitted yet are going to also start to pit soon. And Alonso's going to come back out on track. He was in 6th, or he was in 5th place at the time before he pitted, and he's going to come back out on track in 16th place behind Lance Stroll. So now we're going to have to see how that Alpine passes cars. We've seen it work as a roadblock today. We'll be able to make some passes happen, though. But Charles Leclerc, he's got 10 laps on his hard tires, and Verstappen and Perez have fresh tires, or their tires are brand new. But the gap from Leclerc to Verstappen is 13 seconds, so they've got quite a bit of ground to make up if they want to go chase him down.
But obviously, with 2 cars fighting, 1 Ferrari, what do? Do you pull the trigger again with Perez earlier? Let Verstappen do something different. Try and hold Leclerc up in some way if you can.
Yeah, Tsunoda right now holds on to that last point. And behind him, he's got Sebastian Vettel, who had his incident in turn 3 earlier. He hasn't really made up much ground since that incident, which is kind of a shame. That he has seemed really fast this weekend, and if he does not score points, that'd be pretty underwhelming for that driver. I think that this weekend was definitely a must score points weekend for Sebastian Vettel. And Ricciardo almost got to the inside of his teammate Lando Norris as they entered that turn 1 straightaway. But meanwhile, as those 2 guys keep battling, Gasly's right behind him, and then also Lewis Hamilton's staying close. He's always slowly closing in on him. He's picked up about 3 seconds on the last 3 laps. So about a second a lap, he's closing in on this battle for 5th through 7th place. And Max Verstappen has just set a fastest sector 1. And he's already knocked a second off that gap from him to Leclerc. But he's still got to make up 12 more seconds. Oh, Charles Leclerc is blowing up on the front straightaway, and both the Ferraris are out of this race with the mechanical issues, guys. both of the Ferraris are blowing up and have a double DNF. This is huge, not just for the championship and the drivers, but also the constructors. And now it's Ferrari who's looking like Red Bull the first 2 weekends of the year, and both of their cars are done. And they're both going to finish dead last here. And he's just going to limp that into the box. But this is huge for the championship. Now both the Red Bulls are just going to be able to check out. And Pierre Gasly trying to go by Daniel Ricciardo's. Lando Norris just came into pit, and he wasn't able to quite make it happen there in turn 1. I'm really hoping Daniel Ricciardo can hold off Pierre Gasly here for a minute. And he's able to do it there, which is pretty good because that's going to allow Hamilton to close in on both of them. And that's it for both the Ferraris today. Now we're down to 18 cars, guys. Oh, boy. So, yeah, now this is already crazy drama, and we're not even halfway into this race, guys. But 2 mechanical issues here. Ferrari, with both the issues, you have to wonder if any other cars that are kind of working with Ferrari, like Haas, if they'll have similar mechanical issues. You know, this is, not good. You already had Sainz retire with hydraulic issues, and then you have just Leclerc blow up engine coming down the front straightaway. But that's going to cycle Verstappen to the lead. Now he's a 5-second lead over Perez, and then it's 8 seconds back to Russell in 3rd place. Yeah, this is in the bag for Red Bull right now. Unless they have something terrible go wrong in this race, there's almost no way they lose this. Oh, and and Gasly is now finally by Ricciardo, and Gasly's up to 4th. Could Gasly get back-to-back podiums here at Baku? It's definitely in the cards, possibly. He's got a pretty big gap from him to Russell, who's in 3rd, but maybe he can make it happen if we get a safety car or something. Tsunoda, though, all over the bumper of Ocon. That battle for 7th place is heating up, and now Tsunoda is past Ocon. So AlphaTauri really having a solid weekend here. Both their guys looking to get results, possibly within maybe the top 8. Yeah, Pierre Gasly making the move that he's been trying to make for 3 or 4 laps now. He's going to get by Daniel Ricciardo on the front straightaway. And now you're wondering how much longer will Daniel Ricciardo go before he decides to come in and pit for fresh tires. But your running order is Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Gasly, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Ocon, Tsunoda, Vettel, and Zhou, your top 10. And then you have Magnussen, Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, Albon, Norris, and Schumacher, Latifi, your top 18. And now the battle for 8th through 10th place heating up. Once again, Ocon just kind of keeping it. The Alpine just forming a roadblock of cars behind him. He's got Vettel and Zhou behind him trying to get by. But, he's trying to hold up these cars and allow his teammate Fernando Alonso to catch up to him and make passes and get by him. Sebastian Vettel now all over the bumper of Esteban Ocon. I mean, he just can't find a way by. This time, though, he's got the DRS from turns 2 to turn 3. And just, nope, not going to have a window there. We had somebody vote for Sainz, and I don't know if that was for the memes, but also, yeah, both Leclerc and Sainz are out of this. We're going to end the poll and we're going to put a new poll in and kind of update it for the two Ferraris blowing engines and being out of this race or having issues here. Who wins? Yeah, we're going to obviously put, I think Verstappen is definitely the favorite now. He's the track position over Perez, and he's just growing that lead. And then I'm just going to say if it's not Verstappen or Perez, just put I'm just going to put somebody else. Now, I mean, unless we get a safety car, this thing seems in the bag for the two Red Bulls. But I don't know. Maybe that'll open up a gap for the Mercedes of George Russell to maybe pounce. Oh, and Joe Ganyu now having a mechanical issue. The Alfa Romeo may be done of Joe Ganyu. All right. Oh, Vettel and Ocon side by side through turn 3. That was close, but Vettel's not going to be able to get to there. He's not going to be able to hold on that outside. That was tight. Yeah, now Zhou's into pit, and yeah, Zhou's going to be done for the day. Schumacher's now coming into pit. I'm not sure why. I think he started on the hard tire, so now I think he's switching to maybe splitting the race on two hards. I'm not quite sure, because we're about that halfway point. But this is just a week of I mean, this is a race of attrition, guys. Mechanical failures left and right now. And we've got Sainz, Leclerc, and now Zhou Guanyu, the third retirement on the day. And Zhou Guanyu was having a solid ride, but this is like the fourth time this year he's had a mechanical issue, and he was set up to maybe get a point or two. But this is going to allow some opportunities for some other guys to maybe get points, like K-Mag is now up into the points. And so with three potentially point scoring cars out of this race, yeah, that's definitely going to move some guys up. Mark, yeah, the Italian cars are failing. All the Italian cars are folding today. And like I was saying, now that's Zhou out. And I'm wondering, will Bottas now have an issue, as well as both of the Haas cars get some support from Ferrari? You got to wonder if they're getting some issues, if they're going to have some mechanical gremlins as well. And now Vettel's going to have another go at Esteban Ocon from that turn 2 to turn 3 DRS zone. And is he going to be able to make something happen? He's got DRS, and he's going to get in the toe. He's going to make a move to the outside this time. Will it stick in turn 3? Sebastian Vettel, and he's up past Ocon. Finally, Sebastian Vettel makes the pass happen, and he makes it stick. And Vettel's up to 8th place now. He's going to have to try and chase down Yuki Tsunoda now for 7th. Yeah, Perez is definitely the easy pick, I think, for who we think's going to win. I mean, not Perez. Verstappen's the easy pick, who's in the catbird seat to win this race right now. But Perez is kind of maintaining that gap from first to second. It stayed about 6.5 seconds now for the last couple laps. And Russell's not fading away too much either. He's still 12 seconds back. Hamilton, though, trying to close in on Ricardo. He's got the DRS and quite a bit fresher tire. He's probably going to be able to get by Ricardo here now soon and move up into 5th place. Then we'll be looking to chase down Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. And now here comes Lewis Hamilton to the inside of Ricardo as he dives it up the inside of turn 3, and he's going to make that pass happen easily. And now it's Lewis Hamilton up to 5th place, Daniel Ricciardo back to 6th. And now Fernando Alonso's by K-Mag. He's up into 10th. And Alonso's on the move. And also, we've gotten another subscriber. Oh, wait, I think I already mentioned that. We got, yeah, never mind. 72 subs from 1,700. We're going to update that real quick on the screen. And now Fernando Alonso's gotten by his teammate Esteban Ocon, or he's probably going to be able to get by him here soon. I don't know why Esteban wouldn't just probably let him through here. Team orders. Alonso's on the fresher tire, and he's flying up through the field. And Ocon probably won't even have to let Fernando by as they come through this DRS zone. He'll probably just be able to get right by his teammate here with that DRS advantage and the fresher tire. And yep, here they come down the front straightaway. And Alonso's going to the inside, and Alonso's up to 9th. He'll set his eyes now on Sebastian Vettel for 8th. And Alonso just set the fastest Sector 3. So, yeah, that Alpine is the fastest car in the straight line right now. But still, the big news today is the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship storylines with Sainz and Leclerc both out of this race with mechanical issues. And Norris is up past Albon. He's up to 4th place. And now he's going to set his eyes on Lance Stroll. But Max Verstappen right now has the fastest lap of the race and the lead. So he's looking to score maximum points and pull away from that championship battle. Also, as it runs, Perez would pass Charles Leclerc in the Constructors' Championship, and it would be a Red Bull 1-2. And then a Ferrari 3-4. But also, it's possible maybe George Russell could take 4th place from Carlos Sainz. I think he actually already has 4th place from Carlos Sainz. That's my bad. Mark, why is Hamilton struggling back in 6th? Well, the Mercedes is just struggling. I mean, Hamilton also, they pulled a strategy. It's not totally working for him. But right now, it's okay. If he can close in and pass Gasly, then he'll basically be where he started this race. But we're now just past halfway, approaching the 3/5 marker. And we've already seen 3 cars retire. All of them, though, with an Italian background. And now here you have Norris looking on Lance Stroll as they dive into turn 1. That's not going to happen. But maybe he'll be able to get him when they go into turn 3 with that DRS. And now here they come towards turns 3. Norris should be able to get Stroll here pretty easily. He's going to make a move to the inside. Lance Stroll's going to give him that inside line. And just like last time by, Norris just sends it up the inside, and he's up to 13th. Now he's going to set his eyes on Valtteri Bottas and the Alfa Romeo. That Alfa Romeo just really struggled this weekend, for at least Bottas. And, yeah, he should be able to get by Bottas here pretty quickly. Yeah, Hamilton's moved up to 5th now. And he'll be trying to get by Pierre Gasly, but as you see on the leaderboard, it says where they started. So right now for Hamilton, it is a net gain of 2 spots. And if he can get one more, it'll be a net gain of 3, so that'd be pretty solid. But now you have K-Mag trying to get by Esteban Ocon for 10th place and move up into the points. He's going to have the DRS down the front straightaway, but we have seen the speed of that Alpine. I don't think it's going to be enough this time. But maybe he can close in on him and set up a pass for turn 3. Hamilton complaining about his back. Sounded like an old man. Oh, gosh. But yeah, no, the Mercedes, they were saying that the porpoising is just so bad this weekend that these guys may not be able to make it to the end just because of how severe that back pain is becoming for them with the level of bouncing they are having. I mean, Hamilton's still got 22 laps to go. If you're Toto, you're just trying to convince him to get to the finish here. Black W, who started in the pole position? Charles Leclerc and both Carlos Sainz. So both the Ferraris had mechanical failures. So both of them are done. So as well as Zhou Guanyu. So 3 cars out of this race. And they're all from Italian back. They've all got, the Italian manufacturing behind them. So now you got to be concerned if you're Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, you'd like to see Hamilton get the podium. I don't know. I'd like to see Hamilton pick up a podium here as well, but probably not going to happen. I mean, he's got to make up 25 seconds to get to George Russell in 3rd place. Right now, he's just worried about trying to catch Pierre Gasly, who he hasn't really made up much ground on the last couple of laps. That gap kind of staying the same at about 3 seconds. And now Albon's hitting pit road. Not sure if this is a scheduled pit stop or not. Yeah, guys, next weekend I will be live streaming. I'll be live streaming the race in Montreal because there is no NASCAR race. So I'm like, might as well. And I was like, so might as well warm up for that by doing one today. Black W Productions. Told you Italians can't build cars. Yeah. Well, it's looking like that today, that's for sure. And Albon just having a normal scheduled pit stop. I was worried they were going to put that car in the garage and he'd be the 4th car done for today, which would be quite a big, decent number of retirements. But Mick Schumacher just really, this is just a bad weekend for Mick. And right now he is not making a case for him to have a ride in F1 next year. I mean, he's just stayed in last place basically all day. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton really starting to complain about the level of pain he's experiencing from the porpoising. And he's just got to try and make it to the end. Meanwhile, though, Hamilton did pick up some ground on Gasly. Now the gap's under 3 seconds. He might be able to catch up to him and take 4th. And like, if you're Toto, you've just got to be trying to convince your driver to get to the finish, because it's like, if you can get by Pierre Gasly and we can take a 3-4 today, like a 3-4 for Mercedes, which is insane to be saying right now, a 3-4 for Mercedes would seem like huge. That'd seem like a win for Mercedes. And nope, now we've got Lando Norris up past Valtteri Bottas. He's up to 12th place now. Now the next car he's going to set his eyes on is the Haas of K-Mag, but that's 5 seconds up the road. Also, Albon's gotten by Lance Stroll. Yeah, so far today, really the cars that have struggled are like Bottas, Stroll, Schumacher, Latifi. Those four drivers just not making up any ground at all. Now K-Mag pretty close to the bumper of Esteban Ocon. I mean, he's been right on his bumper now for quite a few laps, but he just can't quite get by him with the DRS. The Alpine's just so fast on these straightaways. Hamilton, though, he's only got a 2.5-second gap now to Gasly, so he's picking up about 0.3 of a second a lap. So he ought to catch Gasly in the next couple of laps or so. He'll be looking for DRS maybe in 3 or 4 laps time. Well, we're less than 20 to go now in Baku. Yeah, Mark, F1 is really tough, fast, and treacherous. I'd say that as well. I'd also maybe even say fragile, as it may, or maybe that's also kind of a term for treacherous, because these cars just can't take. I mean, they can't take the slightest amount of damage, man. I mean, the slightest bump, and they are just done. K-Mag still just can't find a window to get by Esteban Ocon. But yeah, right now, there really isn't a lot of close battling right now near the front. Tsunoda will be catching Ricciardo, though, here soon. And if Tsunoda will be trying to get by Ricciardo so he can take 6th place. But now it looks like Hamilton ought to be pretty close to Gasly here in about 3 laps' time. And now Norris, it says, K-Mag with a failure, and it's another Ferrari failure. K-Mag with the engine failure, and another Ferrari power unit is down. And he's going to try and pull off the course, but this is definitely going to issue a VSC. And that's a yellow flag, and we're going to get a VSC so they can get that car off the track. That's the 4th Ferrari power unit out of this race, guys. Only 2 Ferrari power units remain in Baku. This is crazy. Yeah, K-Mag just blew up, running up behind Esteban Ocon. He was coming out of the castle section, and that thing just let go. So that'll be the 4th DNF of this race. And I mean, wow, this is... Now we're going to see VSC is deployed. So now I think this is going to be an opportunity to come in and pit right here, guys. I think you're going to see just about everyone coming and pit for fresh Goodyears, for fresh Michelins, I guess. And Verstappen's in the pit from the lead. And I think, yeah, everybody's going to come in and pit right now while they can under this VSC. So Perez is also going to come in, and they're going to put on a fresh set of hards for Verstappen. And what are they going to do for Perez? So fresh set of hards for both of these cars, which I'm kind of surprised by. It's only a 17, 15. It's only going to be 16 laps on these tires, and they're going with the hard tire compound. Yeah, now George Russell's in the pit. Yeah, everybody's coming into pit here. I don't know why you want it. Just the track, it's just the fresh good tire is just going to be worth it. Everybody's got to stop here. Hamilton pitting and Gasly staying out. Wow, I don't know why Gasly stayed out here. And Ricciardo's going to pit as well, but both AlphaTauris are going to stay out. So both Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda going to stay out here. Not quite sure. Not quite sure what I think about that, but yeah, I don't think that was the strategy to go with for AlphaTauri. Yeah, Mark Hamilton needs tires, fuel, and two ibuprofens. So yeah, now your running order is Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Gasly, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Vettel, Alonso, Ricciardo, Norris, your top 10. And then Ocon, Bottas, Albon, Stroll, Schumacher, Latifi, your top 16. That's all who's left. And Yuki Tsunoda is trying to back up Lewis Hamilton right now and hold him up so that way he'll have to make up so much ground from him to Pierre Gasly that Pierre Gasly will lock up 4th place.
Very soon, because I would say that's safe enough to get going. Perez hasn't had an answer for Verstappen today, has he? No. He's been very good at qualifying, but
yeah, Verstappen, though, he's got a 16-second gap to Perez, so this thing's as good as one unless he has some sort of issue himself or we get a safety car. You know, now I'm really interested if we're going to see Schumacher and Bottas, how will they manage? Because, I mean, it definitely seems like these and the green flag is out. And so now Lewis Hamilton's going to be trying to get by Yuki Tsunoda as fast as he can, so he'll be able to try and chase down Pierre Gasly ahead of him. So yeah, Lewis has just got to get by Tsunoda here real quick, and also he's got to worry about Vettel behind him. But I think Vettel hasn't pitted either, so he should be fine with that. You shouldn't have to worry about an attack from Vettel. So Hamilton is just all over the bumper of Tsunoda, so he's just waiting for that next DRS zone, and he should be able to get by him pretty easily. But yeah, we're 15 to go now from Baku, and it's Verstappen out front by 13 seconds over his teammate Perez, and then it's 18 seconds back to Russell in 3rd. But then you appear at Gasly, 10 seconds back from Russell, but he is on an older tire. He's doing this race on one stop, and he's just got to see if he can hold on, because Hamilton's going to be trying to get by Yuki Tsunoda and then chase down Gasly on the fresh tires. Okay, now here they come down the front straightaway. Hamilton should have DRS against Tsunoda. Will he be able to make that pass happen once he gets the DRS line? And now he's got DRS activated down the front straightaway. Is he going to go high or is he going to go low? He's going to go low to the inside of Tsunoda, and he dives it up the inside in turn 1. And Lewis Hamilton is through to 5th place. Now Hamilton's up to 5th, and he's got 10 seconds to make up to catch Pierre Gasly in 4th. And now Tsunoda will be getting hounded by Sebastian Vettel, who's in 7th place. If Hamilton catches Gasly, then I think he is going to be able to get by him pretty quickly and pretty easily. because there's going to be such a big tire difference. The only thing is that will he be able to catch him? He's got 15 laps to make up 10 seconds. But George Russell just chilling in third place right now. He should pick up that third step of the podium if all goes well. And Perez just set a fastest middle sector. But he's going to have to do a lot better than that to be able to catch up to Verstappen. And now he just sets the fastest lap of the race in second place. Yeah, he's 12 and a half seconds behind Verstappen. So Perez is going to have to, have an incredible pace pickup to be able to go and chase down his teammate. Mark said how Michael Schumacher's life was altered by that horrible accident. Yeah, that is I know that's a terrible accident, terrible incident. But yeah, it's looking like it might end up shaking out to Red Bull 1-2, Mercedes 3-4, and an AlphaTauri 5-6. Oh, Yuki Tsunoda has just had. And Yuki Tsunoda, as I say that Yuki Tsunoda's car is going to be heading to the garage. The rear wing has just broken in half. I'm not quite sure how, but the DRS now, when it went up last time, half of it didn't go up and half of it went up. So it broke in half. And that is going to have to be a retirement. I think he's forced to retire that car. So that's a pretty peculiar incident why that happened. Maybe it, I don't know, hit a bird or something that caused the structure to be weakened of that DRS wing. But that is really sucks for Yuki Tsunoda. He was set up to get good points today and maybe finish in sixth. But yeah, now Hamilton's taken a second or about 2 seconds out of that gap now from him to Gasly. Now it's down to 8 seconds. And Yuki Tsunoda's still out on track, but I think they might end up forcing him to retire that car just because it may not be allowed to run with that wing that's kind of like snapped in half like that, just because it's a potential danger. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in today. Appreciate it if you drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy what you're seeing. So, yep. Tsunoda is going to have to come into pit. He's got the black and orange flag, which means he's got to come. He's done. So Tsunoda will come into pit this time from sixth, and he will retire. He will join K-Mag, Zhou, Leclerc, and Sainz in the garage. So that's the fifth retirement on the day, which is a serious amount of attrition. A quarter of this field is out of this race. Didn't really anticipate Baku being a place for mechanical failures, but man. And doesn't AlphaTauri also have ties to Ferrari as well? Or am I wrong? I know it's obviously a Red Bull team, but like I think they have some sort of ties to Ferrari. Obviously, this isn't a power unit failure. This is a wing failure, so it's kind of an anomaly, but Verstappen, though, is just growing that lead over Perez right now. Now that gap's up to 15 seconds. And yeah, no, he has just got this thing in the bag right now. And it says Hamilton ought to be in striking distance of Gasly in the next 5 laps. And once he gets there, he should be able to just fly by Pierre Gasly. So yeah, I think Tsunoda, he was still out on track, but yeah, now Tsunoda hits the pit road and Tsunoda will be done for the day. That'll move Vettel up to 6th, Alonso up to 7th, Ricardo and Norris up to 9th and or 8th and 9th, and that'll put Esteban Ocon in 10th, holding on to the final spot in the points. And he shouldn't have to fight off Valtteri Bottas, who's 10 seconds back. Well, actually, now they're trying to tape up that AlphaTauri and try and get him back out there. So he's not out of this race yet, but he's probably going to have to come back down pit road. I don't think it's like NASCAR where you're allowed to just tape something up and send it back out there. If this was NASCAR, this would be all good, but yeah, no, he's going to be boxed after this. He came back out on track in 13th, just ahead of Lance Stroll. So he's still out of the points kind of no matter what. So I don't really understand the point of doing this. I mean, he really has no shot at scoring points anyways. Or well, actually, no, they put softs on him. I did not notice that. So he is on softs. So maybe with 10 laps left, he could maybe catch up to Ocon, but it would be really close. But without DRS, it's going to be almost impossible to pass him. Yeah, Mark, those ibuprofen are kicking in. For, yeah, Lewis. He might be able to catch Gasly, but yeah, other than that, the top three are all just, this podium's going to stay the same unless something crazy happens. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see a repeat. Maybe we'll see a repeat of last year, and Verstappen will blow a tire from the lead. Yeah, Verstappen, he's just got to worry about those tires somehow failing. I mean, they should be fine. The only person who's got to worry about tire failure is probably like Gasly and Vettel. Those guys are out there on 30-lap-old tires, and they've got 10 more laps to go on them. So that'd be about 40 laps on those sets of tires. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it to the finish with the heat that they're dealing with today. We've already seen the amount of mechanical issues that's caused, but we're coming to 10 to go now. Hamilton slowly reeling in Gasly. Now that gap's down to 4 seconds. And now Verstappen has been told, and I believe Perez and Gasly have all been told to not use DRS from now to the end of the race. And it's probably because they've seen Yuki Tsunoda with his wing issue, and they just don't want to risk having something happen with them.
But at the moment, I think that's a wise thing to do from a mechanical point of view, just to go to the Indy Grand Prix. But that's Tsunoda. He's still out there, still carrying on. So Tsunoda. And
Verstappen just put Lance Stroll a lap down.
Lando Norris 2.7 seconds behind his teammate Daniel Ricciardo and catching Daniel Ricciardo as it stands.
Yeah, if Norris is catching Daniel, he's going to try and pass him here before the end of this race. They're probably going to give him team orders, and then he might be able to even chase down Fernando Alonso in 7th and get 7th place from him. Now the gap from Gasly to Hamilton under 3 seconds. Hamilton will be catching Gasly probably within the next lap or two, and once he catches him, he's just going to go right by. It's crazy that Lewis Hamilton still doesn't have a podium this year. But if he finishes fourth here, that'd be a pretty solid result for him. And now it's going to be Ricciardo versus Norris here before the end of this race. But I just have to imagine that Zach Brown or whoever's in charge of things down there is going to just say, have Norris go by and see if he can steal seventh from Alonso. Because Alonso is only going to be about 2.5 seconds up the road. Also, Gasly's catching up to the bumper of the lapped car of Nicholas Latifi. Now you just have to wonder, have they told Gasly to stop using that DRS because of the issue they had with Tsunoda? They've told Verstappen that, and if he can't use DRS, then this lapped car is going to hold him up, and Hamilton's going to be there. Hamilton, though, is about to be within a DRS range. He's 1.1 seconds back. If he can close up a 0.2 of a second, he'll get DRS down the front straightaway. But so should Gasly because of the lapped car Nicholas Latifi in front of him. And yes, and now Hamilton will definitely have DRS down the front straightaway. The gap is 0.7, now 6.5. It's closing even more. 0.6 the gap from Gasly to Hamilton as they go down the front straightaway. Now they should get DRS, but both of them get DRS now. And Gasly's going to go by Latifi, and so will Hamilton. And Gasly will hold on for now as the gap is just over 0.6 of a second. But Hamilton closed up a ton as they went through turn 1. And now here they come through turn 2. And now through this DRS stretch, Hamilton might be able to get him going into turn 3. Hamilton's got the DRS. And is he going to make it happen in turn 3? Oh, Gasly shoves the block down low, and Hamilton can't get around him there. Gasly holds on to that spot for now, but truly this is just there's no point in really fighting this fight for Gasly. I mean, there's really no way he's going to be able to hold up Hamilton for 8 more laps. If you're Toto, you've just got to be telling Lewis to slowly be patient and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just be patient. You're going to get around him here. Now, if Hamilton can get around Gasly, you have to wonder, would Vettel be able to possibly catch Pierre here? But yeah, if Hamilton's able to get around Gasly, it'll be Red Bull 1-2 and Mercedes 3-4. But now Ricciardo is also closing in on Alonso as Norris closes in on him. So the battle for 7th through 9th place will probably be heating up before this one's over. And Hamilton's got the DRS down the front straightaway. Is he going to be able to make it happen? He closes right in on the outside. Oh, he looks to the outside of Gasly. It's not going to be there. Oh, the back end's really loose. But is he going to be able to make a move entering turn 2? Now, that'd be an interesting spot. Nope, it's not going to be there. But now he's got the DRS here. Can he make it happen entering turn 3? The DRS is open for Hamilton. And is he going to make a move? He goes to the inside, and he's just going to chuck it up there. And Hamilton is through to 4th, and Pierre Gasly's back to 5th, and now Hamilton's up to 4th place. But now it's Hamilton up to 4th, and it's a Mercedes 3-4. Now with 7 laps left in this race, it's about 7.5 seconds back from Vettel is 7.5 seconds back from Gasly. Can Vettel maybe close in on the AlphaTauri and get a top 5? But the real fight is heating up for 7th place now, as Ricciardo's going to be closing in on getting DRS on Fernando Alonso here pretty soon. But Ocon should be able to hold on to that final point for Alpine pretty easily. I mean, unless we have some sort of issue. But still, the last couple of Ferrari power units in this race, Mick Schumacher in 15th and Valtteri Bottas in 11th. Are they going to be able to make it to the end of this race? And also, we are approaching infamous lap number 47. Lap number 47 last year was when Max Verstappen blew a tire from the lead coming down the front straightaway, and that brought out a red flag, and we saw a whole change of events. Well, that happened again here today. Probably not with Verstappen, but the two guys on old tires, Pierre Gasly and Sebastian Vettel, are they going to be able to make it to the finish? Pierre Gasly is really going slow on that set of tires, but Vettel is kind of closing in on him. But yeah, now it's a 1.5 back from Alonso to Ricciardo, and then it's 2.5 seconds back from Ricciardo to Norris. So the battle starting to heat up. Yeah, Ferrari has really declined from the opening weeks of the season, and also pretty much all the Ferrari power units have. It seemed like to begin the year, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, and Haas all seemed really strong, but since then have severely fallen off, I'd say. So it's now the gap's under 1.3 seconds, and Ricciardo might be able to get DRS down the front straightaway. He's going to be really close. It's 1.1 second through the detection zone. He's not going to be quite close enough here, but man, that Alpine is so fast on the straightaway. Now, Alonso's able to make up like 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second going down the front straightaway on the McLarens, but then the McLarens are able to pick up about 0.7 of a second when they go through the slower middle sections of the racetrack. Right now, Perez still with the fastest lap, and Red Bull is going to be picking up the most points they possibly can today. But yeah, both of the Red Bulls, both the Mercedes, and both the McLarens going to be scoring points today, as well as both of the Alpines.
More than anything, you want Daniel to take some momentum from this into next week as well. Obviously, he picked up his first win in Formula One in Canada as well.
I don't know. Ricciardo's still trying to close in on Alonso, but like, it's just he can't make up enough ground on him right now. It's going to be close, but right now we are on lap number 47. Last year we had this incident. We had an incident happen on lap number 47. Are we going to have one happen again this year? But Verstappen out front just chilling on almost a 20-second lead over Perez. But it's Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Gasly, Vettel, Alonso, Ricciardo, and Norris and Ocon. Yeah, Hamilton's now saying that the seat has gone cold, so I don't know if that's a mechanical issue or he's just saying that he's in like he's numb, he can't feel anything. He's only got to make it through 3 more laps. But also, it looks like Alonso should be able to hold on to 7th place. He's just kind of maintaining that gap from him to Ricciardo right now. And Schumacher's passed Stroll. And Stroll will retire from the race, and he will be the 5th retirement of the day, joining K-Mag, Zhou, Leclerc, and Sainz in the garage. That'll move Latifi up to 15th place. But it's Verstappen, Perez, Russell now your top 3. We're going to try and commentate now in the next hunt for the finish. We got 3 to go. Or 4 to go right now. Coming to 3 to go. Now Norris has started to close back in on Ricciardo. If Norris maybe is able to get by Ricciardo, he might have a shot at going at Alonso here. And I think they just flew by a slow Williams, but that may have just been Nicholas Latifi. It must have been Nicholas Latifi. Just getting out of the way for blue flags. Yep. But it looked he was just going really slow. Yeah, Norris is closing in, though, on the bumper of Ricciardo. He might actually have a shot at getting DRS on him here this lap. And it doesn't look like Norris will get the DRS to get by Ricciardo here. But he might be able to get by him next lap. He's closing in on him. He's going to just possibly be within DRS range on that short shoot from turns 2 to turns 3. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in today.
So just a slight concern for Max Verstappen there, whilst Lando Norris has now been told to hold position behind Daniel Ricciardo, because we are getting to the end of this race. Although he is still gaining a little bit off Daniel Ricciardo, we might have DRS on him when they head down the straight the next time. That's a nasty thing for a driver to feel down at the pedals, because if that's something loose and it was in the grip.
If Norris can get by Ricciardo here, McLaren has just told Norris to hold position, but he actually might be able to get by him. And also now, looks like Verstappen maybe taking one last stab at stealing fastest lap from Sergio Perez. He has just set a fastest Sector 1 with 2 to go in this race. Oh, now it looks like Norris finally decides to just back off of his teammate. And so it looks like McLaren's going to come home in 8th and 9th, sandwiched between the Alpines in 7th and 10th.
you would expect from any racing driver. He doesn't want to sit behind his teammate, but McLaren want the points. Fernando's just done his quickest lap in the race, so anyway, that's the picture that a driver can't see in there.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso driving away from the McLarens right now. The McLarens are just going to hold position, and it's the final lap for Max Verstappen. He complained about an issue with the brakes a couple of laps ago, but he just has to make it through another couple of turns to make it to the finish. And Verstappen was not able to steal quickest lap from Perez there, so Perez will hold on to that quickest lap point.
Behind his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Meanwhile, our race leader Max Verstappen is heading towards turn 7, and after that, there's only got another 13 corners to go. Just coming back to you know who's going to be favorite next week in qualifying, or you know who's going to be.
Verstappen just got to make it to the finish here. He's just got a slow. If I were him, I would just back it down and coast to the finish. He's got 20 seconds on his teammate here. Just coast to the finish, man. That's what I'd do. And Verstappen's only got a handful of turns to go. And I think he's turning onto the final main straightaway, and he doesn't even have to worry anymore. He's just got to go to the finish. But Max Verstappen will win here at Baku and get redemption from last year. And it's Max Verstappen out front. And then he wins over his teammate Sergio Perez in second. And Bottas, Albon, Tsunoda finish 11th, 12th, 13th. And that's going to clarify that Ocon will get that final point in 10th. Perez comes home second. And then it'll be Russell looking to pick up his third podium finish of the year and continue his streak of finishing top 5 in, I believe, every race so far. And Norris is closing in on his teammate, so he might take a stab at stealing that ace spot from Ricciardo. And Russell finishes third now. Hamilton will be next to cross the line. Gasly with another good run in Baku. He comes home 5th, collecting AlphaTauri's best finish of the year. And now it's going to be Vettel and Alonso. And then it's Ricciardo, then Norris, and then Ocon rounds out the top 10. But there's a yellow flag in Sector 1, it says. Has somebody gone off in Sector 1 or something? I don't know, but there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. And thanks to everybody who tuned in today. I don't know, just tried something new. We'll be live next weekend for Montreal. But today we'll be back live at 4 o'clock for NASCAR at Sonoma, the second road course of the year. I appreciate if you tune in for that as well. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. Verstappen picks up another win this year, grows his championship lead, and then Perez finishes second. Now he'll move up to second in the driver's standings over Charles Leclerc. And what a terrible weekend for Ferrari, as both their cars have power failures. And then you also have a failure for K-Mag and Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll with issues, as well as Yuki Tsunoda. So this was really a race of attrition with 6 out of the 20 cars having basically race-ending issues. But great runs for the Mercedes cars as they finished 3rd and 4th, their best results of the year. And then you have Pierre Gasly with his best result of the year in 5th place. Then both the Alpines and both the McLarens picking up points today. Solid runs for them as well. And we're going to end it there, guys. Thanks for tuning in today.